I seriously can't understand why you managers always say we're looking for someone who isn't here for just a paycheck. Like, what do you think people work for? I'm sorry that people need to pay bills and eat. Oh, you know, we're just so bored out of our minds sitting at home that it's always my dream to work for you. If you want this person to achieve, just say so. Say something like, we're looking for someone who will help our department or company grow X% over the next few years. But for you to say we're looking for someone who is here for more than a paycheck is disingenuous. We're here to get paid. Simple as that. Even people who want to grow to further their career do it because they want to grow so they can get a better job to make more money. I'm sorry that your company isn't worth any more to me than a business transaction and mutual benefit. They do this for 2 reasons. 1, they are trying to pay you less than you can get on the market and want to convince you that this job offers you other value aside from money. 2, they know someone that eats up the BS and actually believes there's more value than the paycheck will be more likely to stay and not leave them for a better opportunity. I see what you're getting at, but it is so transparent. If you want that job, it is very easy to tell them what they want to hear. Often, managers that push that agenda are not great to work for, and it is a big red flag. I enjoy my profession, but make no mistake, if I didn't need to work for a living, I'd probably fill my life with the hobbies I truly enjoy more. The best manager I ever had completely understood that I was trading my stats knowledge for money. He didn't give one single stuff that I went to the gym for an hour during the middle of the day, left early, or worked all day Saturday. I got everything done, he was happy with the work quality, and the client's checks cleared. No more calls, we have a winner. 2 is 100% it. They're afraid that if you're only looking for money, which is, what most people look for in a job, you're going to leave the company for a higher salary and a bigger paycheck. It is basically insecurity/commitment issues. Take this poor man's gold money bag. This is a highly cynical view. As a hiring manager, I want my people happy. Which means I want to pay them well. But it also means I want them to enjoy the work we do. I enjoy the work I do, why wouldn't I want employees who do too? Personally, I'm someone who does get more enjoyment out of my work than the paycheck alone. I've been promoted 3 times in 5 years, and would be willing to leave for a better opportunity if my current company stopped showering me with opportunities. You see, I don't work that hard, but with so many co-workers with bad attitudes about work, I stand out as someone passionate and employable for the long term. So keep up that they vs me attitude and we'll see how far it takes you. They are expecting you to buy into the brand and culture while putting company before self-interests. Some people willfully do this, likely because they aren't fulfilled by much outside of work. Work is life. I personally think it's a silly concept and will, in most cases, put my own self-interest before the company unless it is a reasonable request. My favorite Dwight Schrute quote. I'm going wherever they value loyalty the most, laughing face. Behind the madness of Dwight, there lies a nucleus of wisdom. I think it can apply in several industries. I'm in education and my wife is in healthcare. Obviously you want us to be in our jobs for more than just the money. Other fields can definitely stress the need for people who genuinely enjoy the field, but it makes sense to want candidates who want a paycheck while also not having it be their primary motivation for selecting their specific company. It costs money to train and onboard new talent, and it is an annoying thing for the team they join to have to do. Some companies for sure use it just to justify paying you below market value for your skills. Others though know that they are competitive for the industry and want assurances you won't hope out just because another company offers you a 3% increase to abandon ship. Train people? Nope, we're gonna need you to hit the ground running. Apparently it doesn't cost money to train people, or they just aren't spending the time and money to do so. Half the companies don't train you properly, and the other half doesn't listen enough to their employees about workloads until they get burnt out and leave after a year or 2. I don't think there's many people that leaves for a measly 3% increase. I'm not saying it doesn't happen, I'm saying that there's probably other reasons too. The cliche applies to sales careers. For so many reasons. You can and should do your job well and still not liking it. It's just an excuse to not pay you a lot of money. It's capitalism. Employers have zero loyalty to their employees. It's just how the world works. I hope the pandemic has opened the eyes for people who think companies care. Remember hearing an interview today, 18 years at a company and they were let go in a 3-minute phone call where they couldn't even talk back. I'm here for one reason, to get paid. At least it's a field I care about. All wage labor is exploitation. I am not here just for a paycheck. You are right, I am here for my next paycheck as well. This is why I only work for companies that have value to my future careers, else don't expect me to bring much to the table. I feel that right now with my current job. They do a tuition reimbursement program, but my supervisor told me that it is only for classes that are related to my current job role despite my future career also being in the same building. Have been just being mediocre ever since. Deleted. T've always been passionate about not starving and having a roof over my head. I am very passionate about frozen yogurt. Agreed. There's a lot of very cynical answers here, but if someone has no interest in the job they're not going to be great as an individual and probably aren't going to gel well in a team. I personally wouldn't be able to stand working just for the next paycheck. Obviously money is the primary motivator, but I have certainly chosen a lower paying job over a higher paying job because it would help me in my career, help me learn skills, let me be around people I actually enjoy in an environment that is better than others, gave me a cause I actually cared about, and a ton of other reasons. A big part of your job as a manager is to try to make the job one that people would choose it over other jobs because of reasons other than the base salary. Ditto. Left an entry-level job that paid Euro 30k/year that's really high here in Spain because it was utter garbage. Software developer job that used proprietary stack including their own language and tools, which I was not told in the interview, and thus all experience getting there would be next to worthless in my resume. So I was having the option to stay in my second company until either retire, or the company bankrupts or fires me. Or until I got sick of the people and decide to leave, which is what happened. I get the point a manager is trying to make, but it is tactless and tells me that the job they're hiring for is garbage. That means they are looking for an indentured slave to take some lots of responsibility off their back. How hard is working in sales with no prior education/direct experience in today's workplace in business and sales? My father's side are all extremely successful business people/owners but with education/lots of connections in their home country. How does career progression look from zero to hero? It is the state of business. Get you to buy into the culture and not the income. However, it gets flipped on its head if you start working in sales. We try our hardest to get money-motivated people because they tend to have fantastic work ethics. I get where they are coming from, but context means everything. Manager of a fast food place saying that? Yeah. Just give me my money. Manager of an IT consulting firm? I would like someone to be passionate about the work provided. The people who need to say this never have companies worth working for more than a paycheck to begin with. Especially industries that ought to know they don't have missions worth getting up for. For instance, you're an insurance company, you have no mission other than to minimize the amount you pay your clients. You even have a term for it called loss. Yes, you consider it a loss to pay out what you promised in a contract, forget the whole helping people idea. Another example, you're a big social platform, your mission is just serving tolerable ads, and selling data to the highest bidder. Last one, you're a retail bank, your mission is to pick clients who will pay you the most interest in the long run without defaulting. I don't have any qualms about this, it is a free market, and you're winning capitalism. But that's its own damn reward. Let's not pretend I'd be proud to talk about working for you guys to my nephew. I don't go up to a prostitute and tell them I'm looking for someone who's in it for more than the money, that's just insulting. Twas told by a previous employer that I wouldn't be a good fit because I'm not driven, he quoted me previous reason for leaving being more money and less hours. Who would not want more money and less hours? That doesn't mean I'm not driven, it means I'm working smarter not harder. Anyway, I won't be going back there, meanwhile I'll be working on my MBA and a side business while I seek full-time employment. My previous company even expects us to prioritize work over everything. We've been doing overtime on our rest days for 6 months. Every time, they tell us to do rest day overtime on Fridays. What if you already have another appointment tomorrow? What if you agreed to meet your friends on your rest day? I don't know, I haven't received a single offer for a job in my field for over a year and I would love any opportunity to finally use what I spent thousands of dollars learning in college. I even helped code 2 websites for free. I just love to solve problems. Tagree. It is silly. Obviously people are there because of the paycheck. No matter how much I like any job, if they didn't pay me, wouldn't do it. I think it's an awkward phrasing to mean they are looking for someone that will care to do the job well, and not necessarily do the bare minimum to get by. One of the worst things about COVID-19 for those who have been lucky enough to secure work is that it is perhaps harder than ever in recent history to leave bad jobs and abusive work environments. I've been in a job I don't enjoy, don't feel motivated by, and with a culture and management staff which is a total mismatch since January of 2020. I was placed there by an agency, and they were willing to place me elsewhere after seeing my written reports about the managerial abuse going on there. Then COVID happened, then nothing. It has been an emotionally devastating grind, and given the fact that there are now little to no special benefits to be collected due to hardship from COVID, many people are now facing joblessness and homelessness if they don't stick to whatever gig they can get, no matter how bad it is. This is not a working system. In January, I'd been ready to move on from my dead-end first position and develop professionally in my field for over a year. Just graduated, had a couple of interviews, I needed to move quickly in order to avoid getting pigeonholed. My field was competitive before, but I am really struggling right now. This isn't to say I'm not grateful to have an income, but it really feels like I worked like an animal for 3 years for nothing. Edit, this is not my first job, it's my first postmaster's professional job. Lest anyone consider me spoiled. I'm sorry to hear that. It wasn't you that failed the system failed you. I completely agree, my working environment has gotten so toxic this year. It's unbearable. I'm applying for jobs constantly but getting nowhere. Mentally I'm at breaking point, every day I cry multiple times in the day because it's so unbearable. I have severe anxiety before starting each day and panic about what I'm going to do wrong that day. I feel like nothing I do is right or good enough. All of us employees are treated like the director's punching bags. I'll do my work the exact way of the processes that have always been in place, just to be told off about not adding in extras that are not required. I'll do my work the exact way of the processes that were introduced 2 days ago, just to be told off about not including stuff I've been told not to include. I can't win. A team member has left, so I have the work of 2 people on top of this. It's gotten to the stage where I daydream about having a car crash on the way into work because maybe less of my soul will die that day. It's like they know nowhere else is hiring, so they don't have to be a good employer anymore. It's even harder because I used to love the job. Your story sounds similar. DM if you want to commiserate. Amazing. Did I write this? LOL. My company had started putting the absolute worst people in leadership positions. I'm not sure if they want people to quit due to working under drunks, narcissistic tools, or people so darn smart they can never be wrong. I've done what I do for over 20 years. My new boss. 1.5 years, and I taught him 90% of what he knows. On the new boss's list, an alcoholic who missed so many days they demoted him from being a supervisor for 2 days until they re-promoted him in another department. They cannot get anyone to work under him. He currently has a warrant for his arrest for failing to check into probation. He drives a second vehicle as his primary has a DWI interlock device. So, this way he can drink still. The other new boss is a narcissist who can do no wrong that causes 90 of warranty returns due to crap work. The next supervisor is a great guy, but no spine. They fired a racist jackhole and told him they were realigning and doing away with his job. His replacement was there the next day. I've built this company and have been in leadership positions in every job I've ever had. I was told I have never been promoted because I've never stated I would like to be promoted. Secondly, I don't have any leadership ability. The owner hides his dickishness under a veneer of Christianity. They just locked up the office supplies, so it's just easier to go buy your own. They refuse to hire and pay for experienced employees. Believe me, in my industry you want experience. They scream if our quality people kick back product and accuse them of being too hard. When we receive warranty product, they blame it on quality for being too soft and not grading harder. I often fantasize that I will die in my sleep so I won't have to spend more time there. Don't want to move, so I'm stuck. I had another job lined up to start in May. Then COVID hit and it got pushed to July. Then indefinitely halted. My current job has put me into therapy. It is so bad. I was ready to quit over a year ago. I'm at hundreds of applications at this point, and the only time I hear back is when recruiters proactively reach out to me. Still nothing concrete. Most of those calls have been them building a pipeline of candidates for when the hiring freezes end. Bright side though, within the last week or 2 I have started to see more actual positions opening. Keep grinding y'all, companies are starting to add roles. Bright side though, within the last week or 2 I have started to see more actual positions opening. Keep grinding y'all, companies are starting to add roles. That's interesting, cause I've noticed the opposite. Up until this month I have had no problem finding postings. Hearing back is another matter OFC, but now I'm just not seeing anything. I can scroll through 2 or 3 pages of LinkedIn openings before I find something in my field. That's with the same keywords and filters I was using before. I guess it depends on the industry. What field are you in, if you do not mind? Very well said. Most days I'd rather run myself over with my own car than report to work, but I really can't afford even 1 week without income right now. I don't have many choices and it feels like none of them are any good. I feel it. I'm not gaining many sales and I honestly hate the type of work I am doing, but I am fortunate enough to have an income, so I feel like I shouldn't complain. Damn, do I know this feeling. I want to point out that if you are in this situation, don't give in to learned helplessness. Do what you can to move on. You can find something that works for you eventually, that doesn't make you miserable every day, even if it can take months or years to work toward. Don't criticize yourself or indulge in thoughts like it will never get better, I will never find a boss I can cope with, I'm always going to feel stuck, and so on. If you are doing your homework, working on yourself, and putting in the effort, there is nothing wrong with /you/. Keep going, and for the love of all, be kind to yourself. I want to second this. I spent 3 years at the job from hell once, after being placed there as a temp. I started trying to leave the day they officially hired me on from the agency, when the boss told me I'd be paid far below area market rate for my position, because he didn't think I had any actual skills, I guess the bachelor's degree and years of experience in similar roles, and that I'd cleaned up their books a lot over the previous 3 months meant nothing. The man was, and probably still is, an absolute tool with zero social skills. Working there, for someone like that, was the exact kind of torment you're imagining. I ended up overworked, burned out, belittled, trying to navigate all kinds of head games from the other dysfunctional people who worked there, and severely physically injured to boot. It was demoralizing. I worried that I would never escape. But I never gave up. I applied to any old thing that paid at least as much as I made at hell job. I told myself every day that this workplace was not normal, and that I would probably not encounter anything half as bad in the future. It was hard, but you're right that keeping your focus on the future and putting as much distance between yourself and the dysfunction is the only way to retain any sanity. I've now been out of that job longer than I was in it, and life is blessedly free of toxic insane behavior. The only way out is through sometimes, and as long as you are doing your best, you should hold your head high. I hope anyone reading this and suffering through an abusive workplace gets that next break soon. Learned helplessness is a completely natural response to life. Everything is hopeless. I hear you. I've been at my job for a year and I'm miserable just about every minute of it. I've been applying like crazy since May but hardly any interviews and no offer. I'm ready to throw in the towel and quit, but I'm worried I won't get another job so quickly. I do see one bright side, it's never been easier to schedule multiple interviews than ever before. Pre-COVID I'd have to ask for days off or take half days to attend interviews, whereas now I just take them around noon and skip taking a lunch hour. It was invaluable when I had secured a barely passable job and got a chance to interview for a much better job. I know you're probably feeling down, but I think there is a way out of it. It just needs one to fight like hell. Get out. Lunch hour? What is this? Interviews? You get interviews? This is not meant to be dismissive, but this is not going to magically change just because you're out of this particular work environment. I have nearly 15 years of experience in corporate America, trust me on this. Sure, you may get out from beneath a bad manager, but it will likely be replaced by another toxic colleague or superior elsewhere. That's the thing. Toxic people don't just work at a singular organization. They are everywhere. So the change needs to come from within you. By that, I mean you need to stop giving them so much control over your feelings. Care less. What's the worst they are going to do to you? Fire you? That'd be a blessing from the sounds of it. Hopefully you'll get unemployment and a severance package out of it, too. You need to be saving every penny, like yesterday. Cut your discretionary spending and live on the bare minimum. Get roommates. This should be your mindset for the rest of your life. Debt and financial obligation is slavery, my friend. Offload that burden and free yourself from feeling like you're trapped in these situations. I will never finance another car again in my life. I will pay off everything in cash, or have cash on hand for anything that I do finance on a promotional 0% interest line of credit. I will not obligate myself to anything that I can't cancel or pay off at a moment's notice. Take care of yourself, first and foremost. Put your mental, emotional, and physical health above any job, ever. That means giving yourself every opportunity to get out when it hits the fan. Play by your own rules and nobody else's. All good points, but while every job has its downside, not all ruin your mental health. Also, some are simply not a fit. While one should always be reflective and ask themselves hard questions about whether the external change they're seeking will really change things, it is also true that people can, and do, find workplaces which work vastly better for them. It just takes time to figure out what that is. I feel your pain. I'm currently working for a cable company in a call center. I had the chance to leave this place about 3 years ago, but I didn't take it because the pay was good and at the time the work wasn't so bad and we had just merged. Fast forward to March when the shutdown began and our company was not handling it well in my opinion and started sending people home far too late. Call center culture is already toxic to be honest, but when you're working in the billing department you realize how much you hate customer service. Everyone's entitled. Everyone is going to call corporate if they don't get their way. Everyone is angry and screaming when they call in. But you keep telling yourself the pay is good. The benefits are good. Then you get to the point where you ask yourself, am I good? More and more I've been looking at my mental health and how much it has tanked in the last few years, especially now. If I could go back and find a different job before the pandemic I would have left and never turned back. Mental health is so important and overlooked by almost all jobs. Wow, your comment about asking yourself am I good, really hit home. I needed to see that. I appreciate this. I try to apply to an average of 5 jobs a day. I just sent my 100th job application today. Scams are on the rise as well. People are getting more desperate to find ways to make money. The system is broken, while millionaires relax on their yachts, mansions and supercars. It is so hard to know what's stable right now. Is it worth the risk to jump and become the first on the chopping block, should things worsen? I have no idea. That's what I am going through now. I have an interview with a company that was just bought by another company. Even if I do get the job, I am already on the chopping block if we shut down again. It's a lose-lose. I feel like I should just hunker down at my current job, but do the interview as practice. I do see jobs in my field coming back, but it's still risky to accept a new job if given the opportunity. I left my toxic work environment mid-pandemic because I was dreading going in every day due to toxicity. My pay was cut in half and I was hating life. I have not been able to find a job since, and now I'm worse off mentally than I was before. I'm jobless, no pay at all and have no hope. I'm so sorry. Don't give up hope, things will turn around eventually. Working from home I am assuming. Also, 9 to 5 became from wake up to bedtime. 1 hour lunch is non-existent. Yes, contractors are treated as 2D class citizens, until it becomes better/smarter than a lot of full-timers and/or their customer service side treatment converts to respect. Takes 6 months to a year. There'll you sense their presence, you'll know you're doing the right things. Continue this thread. That's my situation, but started a month before you. It is an alright job, but there's no growth opportunity, at least not for me. I posted here yesterday that I'm there as a contractor and a user told me that we're second-class citizens. He got that right. I was interviewing when COVID started and I haven't started back up yet. I'm just going to keep an eye out and start back up after the new year. I just feel very grateful to have a job right now, even though it makes me so depressed. That's what I want to do, spreadsheets all day from home. I just got out of a toxic work environment, only was staying there because of the current job market. Ended up being told I couldn't work there anymore over text because I asked if I could work from home over lockdown too. I do spreadsheets all day and it can be done from home, but I'm so fucking relieved I'm done with the place.
Like and subscribe for more Reddit content. Watch the next video at the top of your screen.